Hi guys, welcome to the latest episode of Cricket Draft Insight. I'm going to start as I normally do by talking about me, or my team at least, and then hopefully we'll branch off onto some other subjects. I set myself the target of finishing in the top 250 in this competition. I really thought this was an opportunity to claw back a bit of credibility, show you guys that I can actually select some good players, good teams, and do well. I think there's about 1,700, 1,800 people playing this game. Obviously, it was a bit short notice. I'd like to talk about how many people have played the County Championship game, T20 Blast game, One Day Cup game towards the end of the season and discuss about sort of growing awareness of the platform. But like I say, set myself a target of finishing in the top 250. I've given myself a chance of that as it stands. I initially went with a strategy of selecting no more than one player from any one team. Now I know that might sound a bit daft, but I just like to be involved. I like to check the scorecards. I like to have my hands in all the pies as such. And actually, as it turned out, we had an example such as Yorkshire versus Lancashire at Scarborough, and it got rained off, and there were people genuinely saying, "I've got 5 or 6 players in that game, got no points." So as well as just being involved and fun, actually, when it's raining in some places and not others, it can actually help you put some points on the board. Now, obviously, we're looking at which teams are going through to the knockout stages. There is a generous amount of transfers. Everybody's looking at the double game weeks this week. We've got 14 out of 18 teams playing twice this week. Typically, some of the teams that look like they're going to go through are the ones that are only playing once. So trying to get that balance right. I've been fiddling around with my team quite a bit, but as it stands, I think I've got 11 players on the pitch. Well, if selected, a double game weekers, and I'm playing 12th man. I've got some good substitute options there, and then we'll review what we can do. I think with 5 free transfers, I haven't spent any points on transfers yet. Reluctant to do that. As we head into the knockout stages. Obviously, the 100 is of great relevance to the One Day Cup. A lot of players are playing in the 100, therefore they're not participating in the One Day Cup. Graham Clark is somebody who's been an integral part of all my squads this year. He's been called up to the 100. Fortunately, on the flip side, the likes of Daniel Bell-Drummond, Miles Hammond, who haven't been selected in the 100, have been released to play in the One Day Cup, and that's fantastic. I mean, look at a side like Surrey, who to be fair, have genuinely been struggling for an 11. So it's great that those players, can get released and represent their counties. Jordan Thompson and Tom Lamombe are 2 players who featured or are at the 100. They both only played one list day game. Tom Lamombe actually made his debut for England Lions in the winter. So because they're at the 100, it's opened doors for the likes of Bo Webster and James Basley, who, I followed the Big Bash reasonably closely in Australia. Those players have done reasonably well. So I was keen to get them in. I thought they could be, sort of shrewd differentials. They've done all right. But it's interesting how, Thompson and Lamombe have basically played no this day games in their career. And then players like Basley and Webster are now getting opportunities in England to play more cricket in that format. Obviously, Will Smeed is an obvious example of somebody, if the 100 didn't exist, he may have played a bit of the One Day Cup. He might now be heading off to the CPL. But, closed doors for some are open doors for others. So Will Smeed and Andy Umeed. Andy Umeed could have been destined. I think it was Warwickshire, played for before, had 1 or 2 stoic innings. But would he exist as a professional cricketer if Will Smeed and, Somerset have been hit more than anybody, if their players weren't at the 100? It's fantastic for Andy Umeed. He's had a run. I think he did score a couple of half centuries and a century, career best performances. And it's fantastic for him to have that opportunity and to demonstrate to people what he can do as a professional cricketer. Yes, there's some very young players, inexperienced players in some of the opposition, but as we still know, there's also some very good players. So, it is a great opportunity for some players to, earn their keep and show what they're about. At the risk of getting ahead of myself, I think Cricket Draft sort of semi-confirmed a one-day International World Cup game because they did make reference to the point scoring system for a World Cup game. I think when there was some discussion about Prithvi Shaw scoring a double hundred, I think a few people said, yeah, 244 was it, 800 points, whatever, fine. Some people were saying, oh, it seems a little bit high, but I still think bowlers and all rounders do seem to have an edge. When we look at who are the top point scorers, maybe in the recent competitions, batters have been catching up, but I think if you score 244, if you score the sixth highest list day score ever, whatever strike rate it was, hitting plenty of sixes, I think you deserve to earn quite a few points. So I don't think we should be looking at stripping batters of any points. It was interesting this week. Ben Code was in the team of the week. He played 2 games, didn't take a wicket. But that's cricket, isn't it? I think he was none for 40 and none for 21 from 10 overs each time. So that's not me, criticising the scoring system. What would you rather take? None for 20 or 3 for 84 was the example I did with Ben Mike. So it's just interesting how it can work out on the points front. Where was I going with this? If England don't win the One Day World Cup, well, people can just turn around and say, well, the players, they don't play one day cricket. Should England's best players play one day cricket? A lot of debate about one day internationals and whether they'll exist in the future. I'm not saying that the players who have done the best in the One Day Cup should replace, Joss Butler, Adil Rashid, etc. But forgive me for making the football comparison. But if the Premier League, if all matches were 35 minutes long, would we send those players to a World Cup where all the matches were 90 minutes? We wouldn't expect them to do very well, would we? But of course, these players, they've still played some one-day internationals. They're experienced cricketers. The way England play, sure they can adapt. Set themselves a target. So whatever 50 overs, they'll try and score 400 from 30 overs. But I just think that'd be an easy accusation if they don't win, because I think in a number of other countries the players do still play 50 over cricket. Just going back to the 100, somebody followed me on X, and they had a cricket themed name. So I had a quick look at their profiles, hardly anything on there, but there was a screenshot of the 100 fantasy cricket. So in the interest of research, I had a quick look. They have some funky scoring metrics. So there was additional points for hitting a 4. Seems a bit overkill to me. There was also additional points for the bowlers taking a wicket, bowled or LBW. Now, I kind of get what they're doing with that. They're trying to say that's more skill reliant on the bowler. But I don't think the batter gained any points depending on how they were out. I just thought that was trying to be funky for funkiness sake. It did have, as well as having double captain, they had a 1.5 multiplier for vice captain. I just wondered if that was something anybody would be interested in, if it added a layer of interest to the scoring system, because obviously your vice captain is kind of irrelevant, which for some people is the same with your subs. It all comes back to, can you access your phone, your computer, your account at the point at which the game week commences? That's what it all comes down to. So particularly with say your vice captain, or how you choose to spread out the value of your subs. But like I say, I'm not playing the 100 fantasy cricket. I just had a quick look and I just thought 1.5 multiplier for vice captain. Not nagging for it, but I didn't think it was the worst scoring metric. So there's another video for you. Thank you very much for watching. As you know, I could carry on talking about cricket draft forever. I've scribbled a few notes. There's probably things I'm going to end this video and then remember I wanted to say something, but I've tried recording this video so many times and got interrupted. Obviously, I was on holiday for a bit and just bubbling up with thoughts. So I wanted to get some out there. Otherwise, by the time we get into the next opportunity to make a video, it'll be about 2 hours long. We bought a couple of guinea pigs and it turned out that one of them was pregnant. So I've now got 5 guinea pigs. So if you can hear any squeaking, ruffling, that's them right now. Anyway, it's probably of no interest to you whatsoever. Thank you very much for watching. Good luck in game week 6 and the rest of the competition. How's that?